going on? What's going on, people? If you can hear me, you're logged in. It's Monday. Motivational Mondays with Mike. Glad to have you all in here with me. As you check in, as you come in, whether it's in the replay or whether it's now, please hit a like, share, let people know about it. Excellent information. I'm going to go deep into the unfair advantage. I can't wait to talk about it. It's been on my mind all day. Really, it's been on my mind for the past couple of weeks. But prior to getting into that, of course, we're going to get into some real estate news. I liked this segment so much last week. I'm going to bring it back. And I'm not going to say the obvious. Actually, I'm going to say the obvious. It's cold. Stamp it. January 31st. I said it. Everybody else has said it. This weekend was ridiculous. How you people in the North do it, I don't. Or Northeast do it, or Midwest, I don't understand it. It was 37 degrees this morning as I went to the gym. Not for regular people, man. It's not meant for people. Not meant for me. I'm a Florida boy. All right, cool. So let's get into it. Let's get into some real estate news. This was interesting as I was going to my first. I had a speaking engagement this morning, which I'll get into a little bit later. But it had me look up these stats about what exactly was going on within real estate sales here in Palm Beach County specifically. And there you look at it with low inventory. When I'm saying we have low inventory, it's crazy across the board on the MLS. And of course, we cover Broward, Palm Beach County, and we go up into parts of St. Lucie as well. There's probably 18,000 homes on the MLS, a little less than 19,000. High 18s as of last time I checked it. Everything changes on a day-to-day basis, but there's not. When you think about 3 years ago, 2017, I think it was, there used to be around 50,000 homes used to be on the MLS. Crazy. Now we're under 20,000. And that being said, and still, regardless of that situation, we had the highest total sales in Palm Beach County history. That's how fast houses are moving right now. So as you can see, 2021, 37,447 home sales. And you can see the past, 10 years. And you see it creeping up, but it took a jump last year. 2015, 2015, there was 32,000. I don't know. I'm curious to know what happened in 2015. But as you can see, 2021 outsurpassed them all. So people are trading real estate. We'll get into this article. It's very long. I'm not going to go through it the entirety. We'll just go over some of the points that I thought I wanted to highlight. You see here, finished with 37,447 total home sales, 18.8% higher than last year. I like this number right here. Palm Beach's total sales volume in 2021 was $25.4 billion. Remember that number, $25.4 billion. I'm going to write it down just to make sure. $25.4 billion, which was 50.3% higher than last year. This was exactly what I said. If Palm Beach County had more inventory, meaning if more people put their homes on the market, the sales numbers would have been even higher, 1,000%. If you are thinking about selling with interest rates steadily climbing up, this is a huge window of opportunity. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to tell everybody that I call tomorrow. On my phone call while I'm making calls tomorrow, maybe I'll do some cold calls, straight cold circle dialing. I'm just going to say, you have a window of opportunity. I don't know how long this is going to last, but if you were thinking about selling and moving to Texas or Georgia, I'm joking, but this is the time. Okay, especially if you're downsizing. Well, either way, either whether you're downsizing or upsizing, it's an awesome time to sell because you can take that money and move it up into your new property. I really don't want to. I kind of wanted to stay away from luxury sales, but what I thought was interesting as I'm making these phone calls in the morning, as you all know, I call between 8 and 11, speaking to about 40 to 50 people a day. A lot of homes that come off tend to come off the expired list, and they tend to be like you'd be surprised how many $1 million listings are that go expired. And what you have to understand is a lot of these homes, when the owners first bought them, they paid between 300,000 and 600,000 for some of these homes. Some of these homes are older, they're 1999s, 2020s, but homes have been appreciating so much in the past 2 to 3 years. A lot of these people who bought the homes from 300 to 600,000 are sitting on $1 million homes right now. They might be priced slightly higher than what they need to be. Nobody wants to tell an expired listing the truth. The truth is that price is determined by condition and sale. The sale of a home is the sales are determined by price and condition. So and benefits. So, but that's a conversation that needs to be had. But anyway, so you have these $1 million homes. So essentially, people were buying homes at 400,000 or 500,000, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now I have $1 million homes. They can essentially cash out and be millionaires. They can be millionaires and take that money and move it to wherever they want to do with it. So I thought this was interesting. Of course, and even in luxury sales, it rose 19.6%. 281 sales in December. 281 sales over $1 million in December. Insane. 2.8 months of supply on luxury single family homes. I get that. A lot less for homes that are under that price point, probably like less than 500,000. I was looking at the MLS the other day for homes under 320,000, and it was crazy across the board. I want to say there were only like 31 single family homes. So there you go. And that's like Palm Beach County, and I did parts of St. Lucie County as well. I went into Stewart and probably Hope Sound as well. You see, it says the lowest interest rates. The interest rates are still historically low, although they have crept up. Last time I looked, they were 3.55%. I think that was as of I want to say, well, it might have been this morning. I see so much information. It was either this morning or I don't know. It was in the last couple of days. Here it gives some reasons as to why. We're seeing a lot of foreign investors. With global vaccination rising and unstable political situations around the world, South Florida is seeing an increase in foreign home buyers. Global home buyers are coming here for vaccines and purchasing property, which is part of the reason. So this is an interesting reason. Vaccinated foreigners were allowed to resume travel in the U.S. starting on November 8th, which led to more international investments. South Florida, #1 destination for foreign home buyers. Where else are they going to go? Because Miami. Welcome to Miami. But, progress, as my mentor Jim Wolf always says, progress goes north. So you got Broward, and then you got Palm Beach. Palm Beach is not a bad place to be. Foreign buyers feel at home with our incredible diversity and acceptance of all cultures. 1,000%. Gives you some stats about the homes 400. This is about where most people need to be right now in order to afford a decent home. You got to be between that 400 and 600,000. That is not a starter home, but it's probably a mid-tier family home right now. It's going to be between 400 600,000. Single family home. 2 kids, mom and dad, all the American dream. It's going to be right sitting in here. Please talk to me. I can't see you, but when I get back to it, I'll check out some of your comments. Matter of fact, let me go look now. Abdias, what's going on, my brother? What's going on? Shouts out to Abdias, the insurance guy. You got to talk to Abdias about insurance. Let's keep going. Of course, it's going to be interesting what happens in the spring. Normally in the spring, they're talking about it. More homes tend to come on market, which means that the market will stabilize, possibly. Yet to be seen. Here's what people are thinking about this whole mortgage forbearance situation that's going on. People are ending up paying their mortgages or working out things with the banks. It's not going to be, I'm telling you, it's not going to be what happened in 2008. I'd be so surprised. Timestamp me, 1/31/2002, 9:05. I don't want to talk about the listings. There's too much information. There was one more part of this that I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can get to it. Miami remains a bargain compared to other global cities. $1 million can get home buyers 85 square meters of prime property versus going to Monaco, 15 meters. Well, that's interesting. So if you look at those numbers, of course. The $1 million teach for. I want to get to the cash buyers, which I thought was interesting, especially because they're talking about foreign investors coming in. Here it is. Palm Beach cash sales more than doubles the national figure in 2021. In December, people keep saying it's not a good time to sell your home in December. I'm telling you, people who shop in December and January are dead serious about buying a home. Spring, people are just looking. November, December, and January, they are dead serious and they're willing to pay because most of them have some type of life move that they need to make, and this is the time where they can do it. They can actually take the time off to shop for a home and they're ready to go. Cash sales represented 50.4% of closed sales in December of 2021. People are dead serious compared to 42.2%, which is still pretty high, of last year. 23% of U.S. home sales are made in cash. So in Florida, we more than double the national average of 23%. The high percentage of cash buyers reflects South Florida's top position as the preeminent American real estate market for foreign buyers who tend to purchase in cash because they're not taking out those loans. As well as some moving from more expensive U.S. markets, and that's what we always talk about, the Northeast, and who can buy more with their profits from real estate sales. I'm telling you, like second homes was a thing for people coming down from the Northeast. Cash sales accounted for 61.1% of all Palm Beach existing condos, more than half, and 40.7% of single-family transactions. Listen, I'm done. I'm done here. I don't know what else to tell you. Those are the stats. The stats are the stats. Pay attention to it. This is what's going on. Don't get priced out. Buy what you can afford. Go look about it. Don't listen to what people are telling you. Oh, it's too expensive. Buy what you can afford. You don't know what's expensive. Go see what you can afford and then move from there. See what your mortgage is going to be. Then go on from there. I'm just explaining it to you. It is what it is. I'm not trying to convince you to do the right thing anymore. Or yeah, I am, but all right, cool. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. Shouts out to Palm Beach Prep Academy for having me to come speak to the groups of students today. Mr. P. I've known him since Pleasant City days when I was working with the Youth Empowerment Center. He invited me to speak with the youth today. It was awesome. I got them thinking bigger. I'm just there to expose. I'm not there to tell them. I got passionate. I did a little bit of preaching. I get real passionate about our youth. I really want to see them do better. I want to give them as much information as I possibly can because they may not necessarily be getting it if I don't provide it to them. So it was off the chain. Saw one of my mentees from back in the day. Shouts out to Akeem. He's a teacher there now, which is crazy. Shout out to Mr. Mays. I saw him too. He was there. So I know those people who are in that school, just those 3 people alone, I know that school is going to be doing great things. So shout out to those students. Those students are blessed to have those teachers and those teachers on the schools, 1,000%. Thanks to the kids for listening and having me, asking me excellent questions. It was awesome. It was awesome. So One of the things I spoke to the kids about today was, and that's the title of our show, we're getting into the unfair advantage. The unfair advantage. For the past couple of weeks, I have been in deep thought about what's fair, what's not fair. We know the saying goes, life, and let me put this up here. Life, I didn't even put real estate news. Come on, people, you all got to keep me in check. Life is not fair. That's the saying. We've been hearing that our entire life. Life is not fair. I've come to the conclusion. Here's my thoughts. I've come to the conclusion life is not fair because we don't want it to be fair. In our heart of hearts, nobody wants it to be fair. Everybody wants an unfair advantage. People want it easy. Across the board, the average person just wants it easy. The average person wants to be comfortable. They want to be comfortable. And while being comfortable, they want to reap the benefits that just come with life. So if they see someone else having something, if they see someone else who may have worked hard for it, they want it as well without the work. I don't know if it's human nature, but it just seems to be. Because there's a lot of work involved in being at the top of anything. But people want that. So people don't want life to be fair. It is what it is. However, life favors people who take massive action and give it results, who have results. These are the people who end up having the unfair advantage. Is it warranted? Yes, I think so. I'm all about getting in there and getting in there and doing the work. I want to work for the unfair advantage. Let's take it. So I take it to sports. I'm somewhat of a sports guy. I don't really watch it as much as I used to, but it is what it is. Shouts out to Tom Brady, who just retired, or I don't know if he actually retired. I did hear a conflicting argument saying that he may come back. Please come back. For me and my Bucks. I don't know what we're gonna do. We suck again if you don't come back. So we had Tom Brady. I'm just gonna name some of the greats. You have Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry. These people outwork. I mean, they're already blessed with the talents and gifts that they have. But not only were they blessed with the talents and gifts, but they worked harder than everybody else. Because almost everyone who's in the league, probably 99, 95%, probably higher than that, are gifted, are talented. They've been given this God-given birth of height, some of them, etc. You do have the smaller players, but I'm talking about the ones who are but the majority of them are gifted in these games for whatever it is for sports. But you had Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, Tom Brady. If you go back and you look at their work ethic, you see how much time they put in. I remember Kobe was talking about how he would get up at 3:00 in the morning, go practice from 4 to 6, go home, have time with his kids, go back to practice for another 2-3 hours, go home, relax, go back to practice. And I think he ended up, his last practice was between 7 and 9 o'clock. And then went back home and then was getting back up to go back to practice. Because what happens if he did this over a extended period of time, he would eventually separate himself from his competition to the point where they can't catch up. He was doing this continuously. They were just working hard towards, right to get back in shape for camp, right before the conditioning started back up. He was doing this the entire time. So in 5 to 7 years, 10 years, he was leagues and they couldn't do anything with him. He was so much better. Same thing. Jordan did the same thing. LeBron continues to do the same thing. Steph Curry, that's the reason why Steph Curry can step back 10 feet from the three-point line and drain shots, can do things blindfolded. They are putting in the work. Why? So that when they get on the court, Tom Brady's the same thing. When you get on the field, there is an unfair advantage that they work for. They don't want to get on the field and it'd be a fair game. The rules are there. The rules are for everybody. But these people have mastered the game so much that they tend to manipulate the rules. They are the they are the glitch in the matrix. You have to give it up to Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a glitch in the matrix. If anybody on the defense worked as hard as Tom Brady, they would not lose a game. If you had someone like the Ray Lewis or something like it just took that mindset. Ray Lewis was the same way on defense. It was a whole different ball game. So we're all searching for this unfair advantage. How do you get it? I just named a couple of people, and these are the reasons. One thing that I want you to take a look at, there's a book. It's called Outliers. It's written by Malcolm Gladwell. You don't necessarily have to read the book. Go get the Cliff Notes. Essentially, the premise is that there's the 10,000-hour rule. 10,000 hours is essentially, 410 days? Essentially, it would be 20 hours a week for 10 years. So you can do 20 hours a week for 10 years and become and do the correct activities. You have to practice. You have to do the right things. You can't just be out there and not doing the right things. You have to be doing the right things. And so you can get there in 20 years. I heard what Elon Musk said, which Elon Musk is another one who's looking for the unfair advantage. He said that if I work 16 hours a day compared to my competition that's working 12 hours a day, that's an extra 4 hours a day. That's an extra, if we do 4 times 10, that's 40. That's 40 every 10 days and 30 days in a month. So that's 48. That's an extra 120 hours a week. A month times 10. Like you're already 12,000 hours ahead in a year. How does your competition catch up? If you're gifted and you're putting in this time, and then how much faster do you get to the 10,000 hour rule if you're putting in the extra time? Right? I think most people will eventually master if they just stick to one thing. They'll master it within a certain amount of time, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But what about this person who's putting in the extra time to do it within 3 years? And then they continuously putting in that time. That's what mastery and being the best of the best is, what it's all about. I asked the kids when I was there today, I said, raise your hand if you woke up today and said you wanted to be average. Nobody raised their hand. I said, that's awesome. I love it. However, your results because of your activities are going to tell the difference. It's enough to say that I don't want to be average, but what are your results? When are you putting in this time? Your time is going to go by anyways. Why aren't you need to put in the time now because you're here. I tell Elijah, I forget who I got this from, but I tell Elijah, I said, as long as you go to school and you just show up, you should get a C. That's average. You just showing up, you're doing just enough. I said, if you go in either direction, if you go towards a D or an F, or you go towards a B or an A, you are intentional in doing that. So if you're getting D's and F's, you intentionally are saying, not only am I fine just being average, but I'm going to intentionally not do this work. I'm going to intentionally, I'm looking at my teacher in her face and I'm intentionally saying, I'm not doing it for whatever reason. You intentionally get a D and an F. It just doesn't happen. But if you go to school and you just kind of do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get a C. If you show up and actually just kind of do what you're supposed to do. But if you don't, if you just show up and you now you're sleeping, you're intentionally going that way, whether you know it or not, whether it's subconscious or it's consciously or not. Same thing with the B's and A's. You are intentionally going for that B. You're intentionally going for the A because you're putting forth the effort. Most students who are getting A's and getting straight A's, they are putting the time in some kind of way. Of course, there's always these exceptions, these people who are just naturally gifted. But for the most part, people are putting in the work in order to get their A's and the B's. I've seen people who worked very hard to excel in school, to get the A, because they didn't want the B. So you have to do things with this intention. You have to do things with urgency, and follow the time, knowing that it's going to take 410 days, 10,000 hours in order to get to master it. And not only that, but you have to be modeling the correct thing, because you can't go in there and do terrible mechanics. And truth be told, even in sports, you have some people who have bad mechanics, but they practice those bad mechanics so much that they still can perform. I mean, everyone's seen, what was the guy named back in the day from the NBA? I think it was Sean. Oh my gosh, what was his name? Sean something. Used to play for the Phoenix Suns. Had the worst jump shot in the world. Like it was crazy. But because he practiced it so much, it was bad mechanics. Obviously he made up for it, but that's not the way the mechanics don't work, and you can't be average. He was gifted. He was super gifted. Now imagine if he practiced the correct mechanics. He would have been even better than what he was. But he was super gifted. So you have to practice the right thing. So what I told students as well is that you need to find somebody who's doing the right things and model that behavior. So just model their behavior and put in the time. That's it. That's how you start to get the unfair advantage. That's the upswing. Of course, I'm gonna bring back my schedule. Shouts out to Angel, who finally put it together. My PDF. Check out my schedule. This schedule, for me to be the top 1% this year, I have to make things, write it down and make it clear and plain. Habakkuk 2:2. This is the schedule. And shouts out to Jackie Kravitz. I'm gonna give her the shout out too, because she also empowered me to continue on the schedule, to understand what is going on. Because all I have to do is master 3:30 to 1 p.m. If I master my 3:30 to 1 p.m., I will be top 1%. I will reach every real estate goal if I do these things. If I continue to wake up at 3:30, at 3:30, I'm doing my scripture, my prayer, and my meditation. That it was so cool, because the student, when I showed her my real estate schedule, she said, "This is self-care time." I love that, and that's what I call it as well. My mindset stuff at 4 o'clock, whether it's reading books, whatever it is, I hit the gym because I want to be fit. I want to be fit and healthy. And you need to be fit and healthy. When you're fit and healthy, your mind changes. It makes your mind sharper. My mind has to be sharp. 6:30, I have to come home and walk the dog. He's ready to go. 7 o'clock, I start my role play with my role play partners, like role play / accountability coaching. I do either a role play or I have a meeting at 7:30 with my virtual assistant. And then I'm on the phones at 8 o'clock, prospecting for buyers and sellers. I do that from 8 until about 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, currently I have a coaching call. 12 o'clock, I'm returning phone calls. 1 o'clock, I kind of take a light lunch. It tends to be more at 1:30, 2 o'clock. But either way, and from 1 till about 5 o'clock, I put 7 because I don't mind going on appointments at 7, 7 the latest. I'm doing this. But this can't happen, because this is where you want to go on appointments. This doesn't happen unless these things happen. So all I have to do, all I'm responsible for is this is a full 8-hour day. And really, from 3:30, 8.5 hours, from 3:30 to 12 o'clock, I need to be doing 3:30 to 11, really. From 3:30 to 12 o'clock, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. That is going to get me the unfair advantage. Remember, I told you about that number. $25.4 billion were done in real estate last year in Palm Beach County. 25.4 billion. Here's the thing about it. Of that $25.4 billion pie, 90% of it is done by 10% of the agents. And there's 39,000 agents in the board. 39,000 agents are on the board. 10%, which is 3,900 of them, are doing 25.4 billion. Tell me if that's not abundance for the top, and that's the top 10%. If that's abundance for the top 10%, you got to think about that. 90% of 25.4 billion. I don't know what that number is. I can tell you what. I can tell you 10% off is what, 254. Let's say 3. So it'll come down to 22 billion. So $22 billion is being shared by 10% of the agents. Whereas the other agents who aren't in the top 10%, they have to share the 3 billion. So that means that, what is that? 39 is 3,900, 36, 34, 34,100 agents are sharing the 3 billion, where, or did I say 3,900 is sharing 22 billion. Do you understand? Do you see the difference? So they're fighting over this, the 3 billion, where the 10% is essentially sharing, because that's too much business. What you find is that once you start to get into a certain bracket within real estate, while I'm watching, you start to find is that those top agents do not have to, like, they give business away because they can't do it. They just don't have the capacity. The teams don't get big enough. They can't be efficient enough to handle all of that business. I hope that makes sense. Listen, people. Like I said, I don't think anybody is working towards being average. Nobody wants to be average. Your results will tell the difference. And this schedule, or something similar to it, because you don't have to be in real estate, but you need to figure out what your schedule needs to be the most effective for you to be in the top 10%. And I would say even go further. Try to be in the top 5%. Try to be in the top 1% of whatever it is that's in your industry, and you're going to see the abundance that's out there for you. I love you guys. Thank you for checking in. If you have any questions, please comment, subscribe, like. Wednesdays, check out Joel. It starts with me, 12:30. Fridays, Community Beacon. We're trying to give you this knowledge. We are giving you this knowledge. Be accepting of it, man. I appreciate you guys. I will see you Friday for Community Beacon. See you guys.